You're listening to Not Your Sister podcast. Yes, we're both redheads.
No, we're not related. I'm not your sister, Christine.
And I'm not your sister, Amanda.
All right, welcome. I think we're just going to dive right in and talk about how we got here, what we're doing, who we are. Right now we're on a 4-month road trip and we're living out of an RV. And I guess we'll talk first about how this whole thing transpired.
Yeah, do you want to talk about your mindset behind the text?
The text. Yeah, the text happened because, I think it was in around December time, right? Was it the winter?
It was October. It was November 1st.
Okay, a little before that. Okay, it was in November, and I had some cousins. My cousin lives in San Diego, and her boyfriend just graduated high school, and they decided they were going to take a cross-country road trip. And mind you, they're 19 years old, 18 or 19. So they're young, they're dumb. Sorry if you're listening. But they drove all the way to New York where we live, and they came and visited us and our family. And they were telling us all the places they've been, all the things that had happened to them along the way. And then it got my wheels turning, and I was like, if two 19-year-old kids are driving cross country, experiencing the country, why am I not a 30-year-old single woman doing the same?
And then enters the text.
Well, first I was like thinking, I'm not doing this alone, and I don't have a boyfriend or a husband, so who could I ask that would be willing to do it and could do it because they're a loser?
And that you love more than anyone else.
And that's my absolute best friend in the world. So then the text.
We had just gotten back from a trip to go see Billy Strings for Halloween. And I just remember it so vividly. I woke up because we had driven home the night before. We got home really late. I woke up the next morning to a text. Mind you, we're roommates. We live in the same apartment. She was literally one door down the hall. But she texted me and she was like, I have an idea. It's pretty crazy. I think it's going to take some convincing, but I think I'll be able to do it. So I was like, okay, what's this idea? And she sends me the plan. What was your plan?
Well, the plan first started out like, let's buy a van and live in the van and travel cross country.
Yes. And build it out. We were going to try and
put beds in it and
get a van for as cheap as possible and then build it out.
Right, whatever we could. So then I started looking for vans, like a cargo van. I was even looking at minivans, anything. I was like, I don't care what we're driving, we're doing this. I was first looking at like a 15-passenger van. And then I started looking at those, and it was like, those were still pretty pricey, and like, you still had to do everything to it. It was, you'd have to gut it out and put everything in it. So it was going to be even more money. And then I was like, okay, maybe I should look at like a Sprinter van that's like way bigger, like the normal camper vans that people travel in.
Yeah.
And then I was like, holy shit, those are even more expensive.
Holy shit.
Like, and I was looking for stuff that was going to have lower miles, that was relatively new, that wasn't going to run into a lot of problems along the way. Mm-hmm. They were like 18 grand plus just out of the gate without anything in it. And I was like, okay, well, that's not happening. So then it started to transition to something even bigger.
Mind you, this whole time I am also telling her that I was thinking about it. And so she's looking for these vehicles because I basically was like, okay, ew, this is so douchey now that I'm saying it out loud, but I was like, okay, come to me with facts and figures. Figure out, because I had a savings and I knew how much I was going to be able to spend, but so it was going to really depend on what we were able to find for a vehicle. And also health insurance. I wanted to make sure I had health insurance. I had a full-time job, so I got insurance through them. And I was like, okay, if you can find something for us to go in at a decent price, and I feel like I'll still have enough money to enjoy the trip, and I can figure out health insurance, then I'll do it. We want to talk about pros and cons and kind of what we were thinking about before we decided to go on this trip. I feel like pros for me, like you were saying, were 30. Well, I'm turning 30 in September. We don't have significant others. We don't have kids. And really, we didn't really have careers per se that we would be abandoning. So it just felt like it was now or never. Like now is the time to abandon life to go do this.
And like when people start doing trips like this, they're usually retired, and their trip was going to look a lot different than a trip that we're doing because we're really active. We're doing stuff every day. We're going places, going out at night.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like an entirely different look when you're 30 versus when you're 70.
Yeah.
When most people have the time and money to do it.
Yes, exactly. So it's kind of like we're cheating life a little bit and doing it early. Another pro would be being able to travel to places that we've never been. We live on the east, not the coast so much. We're from upstate New York, but we live out east. So it's a lot to go all the way to the west, which I've never been. But it would need to be a really lengthy trip anyway. And we would have to take multiple of those trips in order to see all the things that we're seeing. And that could take years to be able to get the time off of work and everything like that. So it just felt like a way to see all the things that we've been wanting to see all at once.
And we like to travel. We're both like very go with the flow. So we don't need like have these crazy plans, and we're very like adjustable. So if things go wrong, and like on a trip like this, you have to be prepared for things to not go exactly the way you wanted it to go. And I don't think that, not that was a pro or a con, but also like was something you have to be aware of.
Yes. And we've lived together for years. We've been friends forever, and we lived together at different parts of our lives. We know that we operate well together.
Right.
And that we don't really get sick of each other.
Speak for yourself.
But we just are a good team because we're the same in ways that work, and we have different strengths also that help.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It's like the perfect fit.
What about your cons?
I think I had more cons than you because I worry a little bit more. But I was concerned about a couple things. I was worried about not having health insurance.
Yeah, so was I, for sure.
You just made it less of a worry. Like, I feel like I was ruminating on it. I was like, if I can't find health insurance, I'm not going. Whereas you were like, I mean, it's important to me, but not more important than the trip.
No, but I knew there was a way that we could make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and also that was another thing that my mom had said. My mom was like, you're not going without health insurance. So, I mean, she didn't say you're not going, but she was like, I highly advise against it. So I just wanted to make sure that I was set in that aspect. I also was really afraid of coming home and not being able to find a job. So like not only not having an income while we're on the road, but also when we get back, let's say I do blow through the savings I have for the trip. What am I going to do when we get back? What if I can't find something? That was another concern of mine.
Yeah, well, we're in two different job situations. Because I can come back to, I can kind of come back to a job eventually.
Yeah.
But I won't. So I didn't necessarily have to quit my job because my job's seasonal. So it's really like through March through October is like the operating seasons. Mm-hmm. Or operating season. And obviously right now we're in the summer, so I should be working. So then when we get back in November, it's going to be closed, so I won't have a job then until March necessarily.
Which is every year though.
So
it's
something I plan for, and it's something that I know about, and I do other things in the winter that I can sustain myself with. So the whole job thing was not really a big issue for me.
Yeah. For me, I was an assistant manager at an anthropology. it was a full-time job with benefits, and there was only one of my job. So if I left, the store would need an assistant manager. So basically, if I left, my job was not going to be there when I get back. I mean, there's always a chance that it opens up, but it's a good job. Like, it's a great company, a good job. I don't really anticipate it being open when I get back. I think it was a lot more for me to quit my job because I felt like I was leaving benefits and a stable income that I wasn't going to be able to come back to. So for me, it was more, when I get back, I have to figure out what else I'm going to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like stressed about it, but it's like you watch your bank account just go down and down and down and down.
Yeah.
And it's not going up at all ever right now. Which is, I'm not really stressed about it because that's also something like we knew and expected.
Yes.
Which is like a weird feeling for me because I'm very like money conscious.
Centered?
I don't think I'm centered, but money centered, but I'm very money conscious of my income and to make sure I'm basically spending no money.
Yeah.
Which
Zero.
is part of the reason why I could afford this.
Yes. I don't know how I could afford this, but I made it work.
Yeah, so we had a budget. I don't know. We're not spending frivolously by any means.
We're not going out to eat. Here, it'll be a very rare occasion when we do go out to eat, and it's if we're in an area that's either known for food or, you know, when we're on the coast, maybe a place to get seafood.
Like, it has to be a huge special occasion.
Special occasion, for sure. Because as we're doing it right now, we're just cooking in the RV. We have all of the ability to eat at home. And we're traveling to all these places to be able to go to farmers markets and stuff. So we have been able to find a way to eat affordably. If we were going out all the time, we would burn through all of our money.
It's such a waste of money.
It really is.
Even in everyday life. Because
we've been eating really great anyway. Even because thankfully Christina's a good cook. So we've been eating so great. Another thing I was worried about was getting murdered.
See, I wasn't really worried about that. And everyone was like comparing it to the Gabby Petito situation.
Yeah, that was not.
Well, I hope you're not Gabby Petito. Well, I'm not traveling with my psycho boyfriend.
Correct. Yes, that's a good point. Yeah, when people were saying like, "Hope you're not going to be Gabby Petito," it's like, well, we definitely won't be 100%. But I had other people tell me, you know, listen to the National Parks After Dark podcast so you're aware. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know. Because the more you think about it and the more you listen to the things and read about it and watch it, that's when it gets you like all amped up. So I just try not to even think about that. And it's all the places that we've gone so far have been not scary or sketchy at all.
Yeah, I think a lot of the scarier, sketchy things that people talk about happen in the campsites inside the national parks. We haven't
like
stayed.
The free camping.
Yes. Yeah. And we haven't stayed in any of those places. We've been staying at Harvest Hosts, which are people's private property. We've been staying at campgrounds. Not to say that, you know, nothing could ever happen, but a lot of the things that people were worried about happening, we're not even in those situations.
Right. Yeah, and you just have to be aware of your surroundings.
Yes.
And if a place looks sketchy, I mean, stay tuned because we do have a story, but
yes. And knowing, just being smart. Like, we're really, our parents keep saying, I'm nervous about this, I'm nervous about that. But I keep reminding them, like, we're smart girls. Like, we make good decisions. We really do. Like, we can just fish out a situation. Like, that guy at the hot springs that was like, come back to my remote cabin.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll get you back to the island. You can only go by boat, by commercial charter, but he had his own boat and he was going to bring us back the next day.
Not a 10-person cabin, though. He looked homeless.
Correct. So, you know, saying no to things like that really is what we're good at. Sussing out. It's
not really that hard to stay conscious.
Yeah. For some people, I guess. But we're luckily the type of people that do make good decisions. Another thing that I was worried about was I had recently launched a business at home. So I started sewing and making my own clothes, and I was selling them. So I had been building this business for the last year, or maybe like 8 months, and I was worried about abandoning it. So I was worried about not making the content that I was making anymore and not being able to sew on the road. But at the end of the day, I just decided I have all the time in the world to rebuild that. Like if I could build it from nothing, I could build it from the halfway point that I left it at. I just realized that this was a once in a lifetime opportunity and it felt worth it to put that aside for now.
Yeah, I don't know if I had necessarily had any cons. Really? I was more worried about, I was feeling really stagnant in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Not for any particular reason. Because I liked my job. I mean, I have fun. I have a lot of friends. But I just was like, it was because I wasn't traveling enough, I felt.
Yeah.
And every time I would travel, it seemed to be like I'm going to the same places over and over again.
North Carolina.
Specifically North Carolina. And I don't want to go there again.
Well, we are.
No, but I was like, why have I never been more west than Tennessee? Like, I wanted to see more, see the mountains, see the coast, go to the Pacific. And I was just like feeling like I just didn't have enough
adventure.
Yeah, I guess my adventure battery was dead.
Yeah.
I was like, it's time to recharge this thing and use it because, like I mentioned before, we're young, and this is the time when we were going to be being able to get the absolute most out of this trip.
Yeah.
Our trip of the
So not really a con about the trip, but a worry about not doing
not doing it. Yeah.
So Christina had no cons about the trip, and I was a little worried. But I have not worried since we left.
No, it's been like a really quick transition because I was a little worried about not working, and not for the sake of money, just because like I definitely center my life around working.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, how is it going to feel to not work?
And how's it feel?
I haven't really thought about it.
I think it feels great. You have all the time in the world to do whatever. I mean, we're seeing so many different things. We're spending our time researching different places and learning about what we want to do and meeting new people instead of cashing out customers and watering plants.
It's just weird because I haven't really been like sad about it. And it also was like a really quick transition. Like as soon as we left, it was like, I don't even remember working.
Yes, 100%. And that's why I'm like very afraid of the shock factor when we get home.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a problem. Well, but then when we get back, it's going to be freezing cold.
We'll probably go into a deep depression.
Dark.
But we'll be in it together.
It's going to be dark.
Our apartment is going to be dark.
Lights closed, lights off.
Sobs. Tissues everywhere.
With all of our souvenirs laid out so we can see.
Listening to this podcast over and over, trying to relive it.
Playing the same 5 songs that we listened to on the trip. Well, it's just inspiration for another trip.
Yes. Well, I've also been spending every day trying to think about different ways that I can make money to be able to be on the road for longer. Because at first, when we decided we were going to do this, 4 months felt like a long time. Like I'm quitting my job to go on the road for 4 months. Yeah. That felt like a lot. But now, once we started mapping out the trip loosely and planning things, and a month and a half has gone by, it really truly feels like a blip in time.
Mm-hmm. And there's so much to see that you're not going to see it all in 4 months, obviously. So there's been a lot of stuff that we've had to skip that we just didn't, that we prioritize other stuff over it.
Yeah.
So you could do the same 4-month cross-country road trip.
And do different things every time.
Yeah, every time. There's like, you're never going to see it all.
Yes. And there are already places that I want to go back to.
Yes, there's definitely been highlights that we would like to see again.
Yeah. We need more time.
Yeah. So
sponsor us.
Subscribe, comment, share. And we'll even fly you out maybe.
We'll be doing plane trip or ticket giveaways.
Yeah, a 50-50 raffle.
Come stay with Not Your Sisters.
Right here on this bed.
Did you have to like sit your bosses down at all? Like how did you end up letting them know?
Well, no, like I said, it's really flexible. So I basically I told them way ahead of time because I am very important there.
Mm-hmm.
And I got this.
Even I know that.
Yeah. So like I work at a greenhouse, so the busiest time is like April through June. And I got them through the busy time. We didn't leave until July. So I felt like that was like doing a due justice to help during that time. And I told them before the busy season happened, that this trip was going to be happening, that I wasn't going to be here for the summer.
Yeah.
And really the fall either.
What were their reactions?
I guess just okay.
Yeah.
They weren't like, well, you're not coming back next year.
Yeah, yeah.
And they weren't like, you can't go.
Right, there was no negative. Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't really any. It's my choice. It's not like they're paying me to be here, which would be nice.
My job didn't have really a negative reaction either. I wanted to do the same thing where I let them know as soon as I had decided. I ended up giving them 2 months notice. So I told them in May, I believe. Because it didn't really even feel real until then.
It didn't feel real until, I feel like until we got to Colorado, kind of.
Yeah, definitely. But I had sat them down, my 2 closest coworkers that I've worked with for the last 3 years. They both had really bittersweet reactions because they were really sad to see me go. I worked there for a while with them, but they also were really excited for me. So they were very supportive and very helpful, but there were a lot of tears shed.
The first time hearing of that.
Just kidding. But yeah, anthropology was really great when I left. I loved my team. I loved everyone there. They threw a going away party for me and everyone chipped in on a gift. But I will say, everyone, and we had talked about this, it felt like everyone around us was treating us like we were going away forever.
Yeah, it was like a going away and see you never party.
Like, it was so great to know you party. And I'll never see you again. Whereas I'm not going back to anthropology in the same capacity, but I am going back to work there part-time when I get back. So I will see all of my people when I get back. Yes. But they were sending me off as if I'm never coming back again. Touching my face, crying, saying, "You're so beautiful."
Also, first I'm hearing of that.
Well, I just wanted to be humble about it. So.
Oh, I got a going away party too.
Yes, you did.
I had multiple, actually. Well, needless to say, we are missed.
But we don't miss them.
No, honestly. Everyone's like, are you homesick? No.
No.
Homesick from what?
We're not homesick. I will say the only person in the entire world that I truly miss is, do you know who I'm going to say?
Your niece.
My niece, Murphy J. She is growing so fast and I miss her so much. But I do get videos and I get pictures and I get updates. We were also trying to decide if we should get rid of our apartment or not.
Yeah, because...
And put our stuff in storage.
The rent is out of control. But then I started looking around at other apartments and it still seemed to be like the cheapest option.
Yeah, so we didn't want to lose. And we figured if we could afford it, because obviously it would save us 4 months of rent would be a lot of money that we'd be able to use on the trip. But we would probably be... It would have done a lot more prepping before.
A lot more prepping. And
moving out, finding storage, paying for storage monthly, and not having anywhere to come home to.
That would have been stressful because really, what were we going to do? Apartment hunting on the way home?
Yeah. Living in the dry camping in the RV.
Well, actually, in hindsight, we probably could have just lived in my parents' driveway until we found a apartment.
That's a good point. Should we give Cabot Group a call?
The Cabot Group will offer no refunds. I can promise you that.
I also had asked my parents, which I was shocked about. I had asked them, and I thought for sure they were going to be like, that's crazy. Don't quit your job. You shouldn't do this. I don't know why I thought that, but I did. And then both of my parents were like, if I was your age I could go back in time, I would do it. So I wish I did that when I was younger, and I think you're really going to regret it if you don't. And I was like, okay. So now it was really just down to finding health insurance and finding the truck because I got my parents' well wishes.
Yeah, I didn't ask them. I was like, I'm going to buy a van and go across country. So basically, I just wanted them to help me find the van, essentially. Which is crazy because my mom was the one that ended up finding the camper. Because I started looking on Facebook for... I guess I actually really never looked at campers. I was mostly looking at the vans.
Yeah.
And then she sent me this camper, and I was like...
This one that we're in right now.
This current one.
For our audio listeners, we are sitting in our camper.
Yeah, our home. Home on wheels.
At the table.
Home on the roam.
Home on the road.
And so she sent me, and I was like, wow, that's like pretty cheap for like a whole camper. So this was like definitely in the dead of winter, because I remember very vividly the whole scene around it. It
to go test drive it and everything.
Yes. And I was getting worried because I was like, this like seems too good to be true. So I was like, we need to go like now to go see it.
Yeah.
And it was like a snow emergency. There was like all these alerts out saying like roads are closed and don't drive. And I was like, we're driving to Buffalo.
Well, so what was the listed price for the camper?
The listed price I think was $20,000.
Was it? I thought it was like $12,500.
No, that's how much I paid for it.
Oh, maybe it was $15,000 is what I'm remembering.
Yeah, maybe it was 15. Because that seems like reasonable.
And it's a 2002 Ford camper.
Yeah, it's a 24-foot Class C. So
but it only had how many thousand miles?
It only had 22,000.
Yeah, so
like never really was driven.
Felt like a really good price for a pretty good start.
Yes. So I was like, we need to go see it immediately. So I took my dad to drive out to Buffalo, which from where we live is about an hour and a half. I ended up taking probably 2.5 hours because I was driving in the middle of the road at 30 miles an hour the entire way because it was a complete whiteout. No plows, no salting, nothing. So that was really stressful. But we ended up making it there and looking at it. And at first glance from what we could see, because it was in a storage unit, everything looked really good. Like it started right up. Everything seemed to be in pretty good working order. So then we left and we were talking about it on the way home, and he was like, yeah, I think that if you want it, you can put in an offer. And I was like, I don't know how much to put in because I don't want to lowball it and offend him. But I was like, whatever. So I
do what you gotta do.
Right. So I said, I'll give you $12,200. And he didn't have any pushback. He was like, I think that sounds fair. So I ended up buying it for $12,200, and it's fully loaded. I don't have to do anything to it like the vans. So it's right.
It's already all set up. There's a kitchen, bathroom, shower,
everything.
Yeah.
So then I think in a few weeks later, I went and picked it up and brought it home. And then really to prep for the long trip, what I had to do mostly was just clean it out. Everything was in really good condition. It was just dirty.
And her dad works on cars, so he really was able to evaluate the camper, figure out what needed to be done, and thankfully we had him because he did a ton of stuff.
Yeah, I didn't really have to. The only thing that I bought was I bought all new tires for it, which was over $1,000 because there's 6 tires on the actual car and then the spare tires, so that's 7 brand new tires.
Yeah.
And then I had to have them put on. So I think all together it was maybe $1,100.
Yeah.
Buy and install. And then my dad did all the maintenance stuff, oil change. He made sure all the appliances and stuff were working, the fridge,
the sink, the back.
Oh yeah, sink. All the plumbing. The sink turns on backwards, but still works like a dream.
Works like a dream.
The stove, the oven, the shower, the toilet, all that mechanical stuff. And I think that's... Oh, and then obviously I had to go and buy all the stuff to put in it, all the kitchenware.
Because we didn't really empty our apartment and put all of our kitchen stuff in here. Yes, we did take some stuff, but for the most part, the camper has its own stuff.
Really, I mean, most of the stuff, my mom has a lot of extra stuff laying around because she does garage sales and all that. So all the pots and pans,
thank God for
all
Jackie.
The silverware, everything like that. The only the things I needed to buy was the like dishware, which I just got at like Hobby Lobby. Or no, I got it at
Burlington.
No. Oh. I got it at Home Goods.
Oh, Home Goods.
Because I looked everywhere because you can't really have glass because stuff gets very rattled in here. But I found this like nicer plastic looking stuff that looks like pottery. So that's cute. And then I bought just some random other stuffs, which I used like up random gift cards from Burlington.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk about your favorite present you've ever received that we use on a daily basis?
Oh, yes. This is something I got for Christmas when I was like probably between 10 and 12 years old. I was like very into cooking. And one Christmas, my grandma bought me an electric skillet. And it's like, you know, it's a pretty good size. It's a square pan, but you plug it in. And we've been cooking literally every single meal in it.
It's perfect.
It's amazing.
You literally just plug it in. So whenever we're plugged in on a electric hookup, then that's what we use. Then we don't have to use propane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like, we just do like one pot meals. So everything just gets thrown in the skillet.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks, Grandma.
Thanks, Grandma.
But other than that, I mean, really didn't have to do too many purchases. A lot of the stuff I just had extras of.
Yeah. Honestly, it was maybe a week before we left that we finally sat down together at the kitchen table and made a list of the different things that we wanted to go to throughout the country. Because our general direction that we wanted to go was west. We wanted to go west and then go all the way down the coast. And see as much as we possibly could. So we basically separately made lists of things that we wanted to see and do, and then came together, and honestly almost everything was fully aligned. Like we had all the same things, and we didn't even make the lists together, so that was perfect.
Yeah, and in hindsight, it was actually way better that we didn't do a lot of planning before.
We've learned, yes. So when we started planning, Christine's been driving, and for the first, I guess, so we stopped in Ohio and Kansas. It took us like 2.5 days to get to our first destination, which was Colorado. And for those driving, they were long days. It was like 7-8 hour driving both days. So we decided to utilize our time wisely. And I mean, we had literally nowhere to even stay yet. Like we were on our way west and nothing booked.
Nothing planned at all.
We did sign up for the Harvest Host membership, so we
shout out.
So we knew that we would have places to stay as long as there was a Harvest Host nearby and it was available. But those are really good for even last minute.
Yeah.
If we can find something. But yeah, we just started basically loosely planning out the route. And then within each state, it took me a second. It took me 1 or 2 states to get the process down. But the process ended up being going onto Google Maps, going state by state, flagging everything on Google that we wanted to see, and then figuring out the most efficient route to be able to hit everything that we want to see. And then from there, knowing where we're going in what order, how long we want to be at each place, then deciding where we're going to stay.
Right.
Because we've been using multiple different things to figure out where we're going to stay. Like we've used Harvest Host, Hip Camp, Camp Spot for a couple of them. And sometimes if everything, like there's nothing available in those 3 apps, we'll just go to Google and be like RV camping near.
Yeah, there's always like a campground we can fall back on. But they're typically more expensive.
Yeah, we found that the campgrounds are more expensive, but they do have more amenities. So they'll have bathrooms, showers, full hookup.
Yeah, which is nice because the Harvest Hosts are really just like someone's backyard, essentially. So they have like power hookups, but they don't have a dump station, which we need every couple of days.
Right.
So it's been nice.
Well, and sometimes something we have learned is even if they have water, at first we were like, okay, electric and water, we can fill up. But if there's no dump, there's really no point in filling the water because we've learned that obviously as you use the water and it fills up those tanks, the tanks are full. You can't even if you fill your water tank, you can't really use the water because the tanks are full.
Right.
So you have to be able to dump if you're going to put more water in.
We'll do a whole nother episode on RV living.
Yes. While she was driving, I've kind of been doing all of the admin work, calling places, booking places. Our general route that we ended up going, we went Denver was our first destination. So we basically took the quickest way to get there. We went through Indiana, Ohio, Kansas, and just straight shot to Denver. My cousin was doing an internship there, so we thought it was the perfect place to start because I wanted to go see her out there. And then from Colorado, we went north through Wyoming and Montana. And then
Well, we made a quick stop in Utah.
Oh yeah, we did. Unexpected because someone had given us a recommendation for a pretty scenic ride or drive. So we went through Moab actually to get to Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
So we could do a pretty little. So we kind of dipped into Utah a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then from Montana, we went west and went through Idaho. We went up into Vancouver, and now we're in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
So that's our general route. We're planning to go down through California and over to like Arizona and then head back to the East Coast where we can see our friends and family. We have friends and family actually kind of along the way, but we also have people on the East Coast that we really want to see. So we're looking forward to doing that too at the end of our trip. We kind of want to get in
it at the same time.
And dreading it because seeing our friends and family on the East Coast means we're almost home.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be crying into the shoulders of our loved ones.
I guess we can talk about like what to expect out of this podcast and like what we're kind of hoping for.
Yeah.
I think that primarily we want to obviously talk about the trip and kind of narrow in on like if certain places that we've been and things that really stood out and experiences and memories that we made at those specific places and highlight, you know, whatever we did that we really liked that went well or didn't go as well as we expected, and definitely highlight people that we've met along the way
because we've met a lot of really great and interesting people. Well, it's funny because we didn't start the podcast right away. Like some people are like, why you guys are a month and a half in, like why are you just starting it now? But truly we didn't really know what to expect. We had no idea. So we're like, we didn't know really if we were gonna have any good stories. Like we just weren't really sure. We didn't know if we would have time, which we don't really have a lot of time, but it feels worth it to try and fit it in for us.
And it also is a way to encapsulate everything as it's happening for us too.
Yeah, so we can look back on it.
Yeah. And then we also want to so we have the people that we met and then lessons and things learned.
Yes, because we've learned a lot.
Learned a lot through experiences, but we've also learned a lot through other people.
Yeah.
Through their experiences and their interests.
Yeah, I agree. And also talking about, because what we're trying to do really is get as many recommendations from locals and other people as possible instead of using the internet as our only source, because a lot of the times, it just feels like they're all very crowded, very overhyped areas. So we want to see the beautiful things that people have gone, experienced, and been like, wow, this is amazing. So recommendations too we'll be sharing.
Yes, for sure, because there's definitely been places that we've gone that I think have been hyped up.
And then also places that we've been recommended that we never heard about that we really loved.
And things that we've discovered on our own with no recommendation.
Yes, stumbled upon. And we'll have some retroactive episodes, if you will. Basically episodes going back in time and sharing stories from things that have already happened. And then as we do more episodes, we'll share things happening in current time too.
Right, yeah. If we ever catch up.
Because there's a lot.
I think that pretty much sums up the first episode.
Yeah, this is our first time doing any type of podcast, so Follow along if you care about our trip.
Like, comment, subscribe.
We made an Instagram, so follow us on there, Not Your Sister Pod. And we're working on a TikTok, so stay
And
tuned
Spotify.
for that. Yes, and we'll be posting this on Spotify, so you can follow us on there too.
And tell your friends and family and coworkers.
Tell everyone that you know.
And your sister.
And your sister. But just a reminder, we are not your sister.
Ciao.
Bye.